Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to do a silver review. I will keep this one open, have everyone take a look at it. We've been talking about silver quite a bit. We have a silver report that's ongoing, and I suggest that anyone who's really interested in that, who is subscribing to the Matrix or is either considering doing both, should probably get involved with the silver report. We're going to talk about things in there that go a lot further than what we say here. What we're going to talk about here is basically a heads up that silver could be setting up for a move in 2022. It could be the play. The way I see things out on the internet is it tends to focus on whatever's been hot, what is the hot play, and then everyone talks about it endlessly. What it doesn't do is it doesn't focus on emerging areas. It's not like silver hasn't moved before, but it's been quiet. It's been lost in the shuffle, and we are setting up for a triple alignment, and we're going to talk about how it looks like inside the matrix, and we do follow the evolution of the trade, and we are looking for a primary trend flip. First thing that we notice here is that we have the code, and this is going to change. This is FIP, which is a flip in progress. It's taking place. It tried to take place in March, but it failed. Now we have it taking place here again in April. If it finalizes, it means the flip will be ready to go in a full-fledged flip, which will be a second count, will take place in May, and this will turn to a 2, and this will get highlighted green. And that's what we look at when we're trying to establish the core position. Core positions can be up or long. This is going to be an upside flip. You can see it's an up and it's a breakout, and it's a count of 1, so it's a flip in progress. When this finalizes through the entire month, we get a second count, this is all going to change. And silver could be an early move, and we're going to talk about that. I know one of the things that we like to focus on, and we've been talking a lot about, is either energy or the grain market or some of the other ag markets or even the stock markets. But those are plays where the primary trend has been up for 15 months or more. This is a flip that's going to be up 1 and then 2 and be finalized at 2. Which means the cycles are going to be a lot earlier than trying to force a position, say, in corn or in cotton or in coffee. And they're all markets that are in play, but they're much older in terms of what's taking place here in silver. And you could probably extend and take a look at the gold shares or in gold. But we're talking about silver right now, and we're going to look at what's really taking place in terms of visualizing the 3 time frames. The evolution of the trade follows energy. It follows the daily, weekly, and monthly trends in their cycles, but not individually, simultaneously. We look for triple alignment of all 3 time frames, either up or down. In this case, silver is setting up for a triple upside alignment. It is the primary trend that we're going to follow. If it runs, we're going to follow this as long as the primary trend stays up. It's going to get volatile. It's going to go up and down in the daily and the weekly at times and fall out of alignment and enter consolidation. But as long as this primary trend stays up, you're going to be long silver, and you have a long core position in silver. Now, how does that look like? Well, we slide back up here and we get back up to the top. We can see the daily trend. The daily trend is really bull trends in the daily, or any trend, or for weekly, monthly as well. This is the tertiary trend inside the matrix. It's currently down because the LTCO, which is the dark lead, that's price, is below 0, and volume, which is LTREV, is also below 0. It's hard to see, but there's no more green box shading. This is a down flip in the daily. You can see it's down. It's been down for 4 days, and that's what it looks visually. Most people stop at the daily trend, or man, don't even get out to the daily trend. Perhaps they focus on 15-minute or 30-minute charts. Trends are fractal, so they exist within an infinite number of time frames, but we focus on the daily, weekly, and monthly. The weekly trend for silver is up. We can see that here because we have a green box. This helps us visualize the up impulse. We can also see it in the matrix because it's up. It's been up for 6 weeks. Here's the price and time cycle. Price right here, BUS, BUST, T for time is right there. They're both below 0, so this is a relatively early cycle. If we extend this out, we're going to see that The monthly trend is also trying to turn up, and we don't have cycle scores for them yet because it's not finalized. Visually, that looks like this. We can see the green box in the weekly. The monthly's here, and here we finally have a single green box. It's a stick, and it's a flip in progress, so it's not finalized. If this goes, and this is in a green box, and the weekly's in a green box, and the daily flips up to a green box, you have an alignment of the three time frames, and the trend is going to focus, and that leads to a powerful rally if the energy build it was supportive or continues to be supportive. If we slide over here and we'll go back to the matrix and we'll take a look, this is where we follow energy in columns K, L, and M. 24 minus 26 and 2. Now, that might not look like a lot, but if you click this link right here inside your matrix, it'll pull up a chart that looks exactly like this. And what we're looking for is a market that's about ready or setting up to go into triple alignment that is preceded by bearish or bullish energy builds. Bullish energy builds are DI or DI2 readings above here, which is 60%. Bearish would be below minus 60% or down here. Now what we can see is that we had two bullish energy builds, one here earlier in, I'd say, 2022. And they're not even that far apart, not even that far off. We just recently had one. It created a green cup or support cup or a bullish energy build that's helping turn price. Now, since we've had these bullish energy builds, price has rallied a little bit. You can see it's moved off these lows, and energy has dissipated from here. Now, what's taking place is the energy builds moving from here to down here, and what we do is we focus on DI2, which is a longer term measure of energy. It was up here, it was probably around 30%. It's currently at -2, and it's going to probably go until we get all the way down to -60%. So we're making a full bearish, or well, you would say bearish, but it's really it's distribution or a bullish cycle where price rallies and the energy build that set the rally up distributes itself or releases itself. And it's the process of release that fuels the alignment that we're starting to see right here. The only thing that's holding silver back is an alignment within the daily time frame, but when it comes, it's likely going to generate triple alignment, and the computer will score it as either early, mid, or late, and it's going to be dependent on all these cycles. First, you got to get this cycle over here, which would be in the bullish territory. But if it recognizes a very low, what you'd say cycle scores, and that's these readings from here, here, and it would be right here, but there's not one here. But when it comes, very low readings would generate a very low score, probably below 0. The computer would classify the alignment as a triple up early cycle with a composite X bar probably well below 0. And that's what we look for. That's what we look for to establish core positions, because once that happens, there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time in terms of price. And so there's price, there's time cycles that have a lot of room left to run. We talk about them in terms of fuel, the fuel tank of cycles. There's a lot of fuel in the tank when everything's negative and well below 0. So when that happens, and we have the proper energy build, which we just said we did, it's very likely that silver will set itself up for an agreement of 3 time frames. Everything will align. Short-term traders will come in with position traders, and position traders will be setting up with long-term traders, and everyone will go from, I am not talking about silver, to, well, wait a second, we're all interested in silver. And then several weeks later, Twitter will start talking about silver as being a play that we should all be talking about, yet they can't see it take place because they can't see the cycles in advance, and they can't see the energy builds. But this is why we have the matrix. This is why we're interested, and this is why the computer is flagging a flip in progress already. We know this, so I want you to keep an eye on silver in the coming weeks. First, this has to get to a flip. Watch the energy builds closely. We're going to watch the cycles when they do. I suspect they will all be low when they're ready. And when they do, you're going to see all the 3 time frames generate green boxes and triple alignment, decent energy build. And we're going to be doing this while we're trying to chew through some of the reversals. So this will be the last thing I'm going to talk about. Again, we have a silver report that talks about all this stuff. I'll put it inside the link inside this review, a link to that report. I suggest anyone with any interest to want to see where we're going, to see how we update. It's something that we continuously update with silver as it moves along. It's highly complicated. We go much deeper than this. We access deep long-term databases. We look at things a lot more than what we're talking on the surface here. But I will share that the reversals, and we track SLV inside the matrix, which is, it's not the future spot price, but it is tied with the futures contract, and it studies silver back long term. We have silver going back into the 1700s. When the time comes and it starts to organize, silver starts to run, we're going to need to know when the profit points are coming. Some of those profit points are going to be defined by reversal systems that we pull from here inside the matrix. The computer studies the three time frames to understand where there's supply demand zones or gaps. These are synthetic gaps that really don't exist within the price structure, but they represent heavy volume or heavy activity zones, and the computer picks up on them. You can see there's a heavy band right here. It's one of the reasons why the market is chopping and struggling to break out. It's struggling to break down, because if we zoom in here, we can see lots of support. We can see support down below with these green lines, which are all these numbers right here below price. Current price is 22.74. And all the prices that it's above is painted red because they represent resistance. First layers of resistance are really have a 23 handle, and those are the most important. So, and the line in the sand for silver changes. A computer could recognize another one up here, but for now it's 23.98. Once we cross above that, we're going to jump into what we call an air pocket between where the computer doesn't recognize any more lines and the next layer of lines, which will start with a 30 handle. That's a lot higher than the current price at 22.74. So when we cross above, call it a 24 handle, things are really going to pick up unless the computer picks something else up. So when you subscribe to the matrix, we're going to watch these things. We're going to talk about them not only in the reviews. Most of these reviews are not open content, and we're certainly going to talk about them in the ongoing report. But we will, once we blast through and the computer doesn't find anything, price will quickly jump to the next layer of resistance. That's why when we ran from here to here, it slammed through and got halted by this congestion band, and we've been struggling ever since. So we get through the last line in the sand here, you're going to go right up to this zone, and it's going to do it relatively quick. That's why you have these sharp gooseneck structures. They come because they can't find anything to slow it down. And you'll get one up to here, and if it gets through here, there's another one up there. The whole point is to know this stuff. I can't keep a running commentary. I can't even say keep them out on a piece of paper. These are relatively stable weekly time reversal zones, but the computer can modify them. The computer studies stuff as it trades, and if any new information comes in, it will adjust these numbers. But for now, we do know where the line in the sand is, and I want everyone to keep an eye on that. And I suggest that everyone who's watching this and saying, well, okay, then we'll see what silver does. You can get involved with the matrix. You can get involved with the silver report, because I think silver could be one of the markets that really is ready to move in 2022. If you guys have any questions about that or the matrix in general or anything we have on the website, contact us directly. If not, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.